Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another special ranking video. Tonight we will be counting down our picks for the top 10 Sylvester Stallone films. Now keep in mind that this list will not feature any of his comedy films, so no Rhinestone, Oscar, or Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. If you are a fan of those films, don't expect them on this list. But with that being said, let's begin this list. Coming in at number 10, we have The Expendables, a 2010 American action film directed by Sylvester Stallone, who wrote it with David Callahan. Stallone stars as the character of Barney Ross, the leader of a team of elite mercenaries called the Expendables. And in this film, Stallone was joined by a huge cast of supporting characters consisting of Jason Statham, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Eric Roberts, Randy Couture, Steve Austin, Charisma Carpenter, Gary Daniels, Terry Crews, and Mickey Rourke. It was followed by 3 sequels, none of which will be on this list. And clocking in at number 9 is Tango and Cash, a 1989 American buddy cop action comedy film starring Stallone, alongside Kurt Russell, Jack Palance, Brian James, and Terry Hatcher. The film was chiefly directed by Andrei Konchalovsky, with Albert Magnoli and Peter McDonald taking over the later stages of filming due to clashes between the producer John Peters and Konchalovsky over creative differences. But even with those issues going on behind the scenes, the film was still a box office success, earning over $120 million on a $54 million budget. And the combination of Stallone with Russell was excellent, and Palance as the villain and James as his main henchman was perfect. And coming in at number 8 is Rambo First Blood Part 2, a 1985 American action film directed by George P. Cosmatos from a story by Kevin Jarre and a screenplay by James Cameron and Stallone. Stallone reprises his role as Vietnam War veteran John Rambo, as Richard Crenna reprises his role as Colonel Sam Troutman from First Blood. They are joined by excellent supporting cast members, including Charles Napier, Julia Nixon, and Stephen Burkhoff. And coming in at number 7 is Cliffhanger, a 1993 American action thriller film, directed and co-produced by Rennie Harlan, and co-written by and starring Stallone, alongside John Lithgow, Michael Rooker, and Janine Turner. The film contains a heartbreaking opening sequence in which Stallone's Gabe Walker attempts to save Sarah, the girlfriend to Michael Rooker's character of Hal Tucker, when her harness fails and she falls to her death. This really sets the stage for this film later, as you have this resentment between Stallone and Rooker, which works really well when Lithgow's villain comes along. And Rooker and Stallone have to eventually put their differences aside and work together against Lithgow. Coming in at number 6 is Rocky IV, a 1985 American sports drama film written and directed by Stallone, who reprises his role as Rocky Balboa alongside the returning Talia Shire, Burt Young, and Carl Weathers. These returning cast members are joined by new cast members Bridget Nielsen and Dolph Lundgren. This film was Lundgren's American film debut, and in the new cut, Rocky vs. Drago that Stallone just did recently, the film is much improved from the theatrical version, which is why this film makes this list. It has a kick-ass soundtrack, with every single song in this film being iconic. The only thing that could have been fixed in this film from the original was the unnecessary killing of Weathers' Apollo Creed, and that is why this film doesn't make it any higher on this list. Coming in at number 5, we have Assassins, a 1995 American action thriller film directed by Richard Donner from a screenplay written by the Wachowskis and Brian Helgeland, and stars Stallone, Antonio Banderas, and Julianne Moore. This one was a very interesting film for Stallone and his aging assassin character being pitted against a younger assassin character with Banderas, who ended up protecting Moore's character of Elektra. It was a very, very interesting plot, and the action sequences were well put together. Glad Donner got to make this film with Stallone. And clocking in our number 4 position is Nighthawks, a 1981 American neo-noir action crime thriller film directed by Bruce Malmuth and starring Stallone with Billy D. Williams, Lindsay Wagner, Nigel Davenport, and Rutger Hauer. This was an excellent change of pace for Stallone, and him getting Williams as his partner in here, and Wagner as his wife, on top of having Hauer playing the villain of Wolfgar Reinhardt, was excellent. It is a very tense and an exciting film, with many great sequences throughout it. Can't recommend this one enough. And coming in at number 3 is Cobra, a 1986 American action film directed by George P. Cosmatos and written by Stallone. Stallone stars in the film as Marion Cobretti, a police lieutenant investigating a string of violent crimes perpetrated by the Night Stalker. This film co-stars Renee Santoni, Bridget Nielsen, Andrew Robinson, and Brian Thompson. Although loosely based on the novel A Running Duck by Paula Gosling, later published as Fair Game, which was also made into a film in 1995. Most of the story elements involving Cobretti are based on Stallone's script ideas while he was working on Beverly Hills Cop in 1984, before that film was recast with Eddie Murphy playing the role. This film is an excellent action-adventure film, with Cosmatos directing some excellent sequences in this film, and the final showdown between Stallone and Thompson is highly memorable. This film is definitely required viewing. At our number 2 spot is Rocky, a 1976 American sports drama film directed by John G. Avildsen and written by Stallone, the first and best, in our opinion, installment of the Rocky franchise. Features Stallone's first appearance as the character of Rocky Balboa and co-stars Talia Shire, Burt Young, Carl Weathers, and Burgess Meredith. Rocky made Stallone a household name and star, and it is his performance in this that is one of his best performances of his career, until we get to our number 1 pick. And that number 1 pick is First Blood, a 1982 American action drama film directed by Ted Kotcheff and co-written by Stallone, starring Stallone in his first appearance as Vietnam War veteran John Rambo. It co-stars Richard Crenna as Rambo's mentor Sam Troutman and Brian Dennehy as the villain of the film, Sheriff Will Teasel. The film is based on the 1972 novel of the same name by David Morrell, which many directors and studios had unsuccessfully attempted to adapt in the 70s. But the film version does change many elements of the novel to make Rambo a much more likable character, as it is his best performance of all time, while Crenna and Dennehy make the most out of their scenes with their characters. And that is why, in our opinion, this is the number 1 Sylvester Stallone film of all time. So, what did you think of our list? Did you agree with our picks? Did you disagree? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and smash that bell icon to be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you are by the subscribe button, why not click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan? Well, that's the end of another ranking video. If you missed our previous week's video, click the link above. And if you missed any of our other ranking videos, click on this playlist and get caught up on any that you might have missed.